Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for standing by and welcome to the Joyy Inc.'s first quarter 2024 earnings call. At this time, all participants are in listen-only mode. After the management's prepared remarks, there will be a question-and-answer session. I'd now like to hand the conference over to your host today, Jane Xie, the company's Senior Manager of Investor Relations. Please go ahead, Jane.
Thank you, Operator. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Joyy's first quarter 2024 earnings conference call. Joining us today are Mr. David Xueling Li, Chairman and CEO of Joyy, Ms. Ting Li, our COO, and Mr. Alex Liu, the Vice President of Finance. For today's call, management will first provide a review of the quarter, and then we will conduct a Q&A session. The financial results and webcasts of this conference call are available at ir.joyy.com. A replay of this call will also be available on our website in a few hours. Before we continue, I would like to remind you that we may make forward-looking statements which are inherently subject to risks and uncertainties that may cause actual results to differ from our current expectations. For detailed discussions of the risks and uncertainties, please refer to our latest annual report on Form 20-F and other documents filed with the SEC. Finally, please note that unless otherwise stated, all figures mentioned during this conference call are in US dollar. I will now turn the call over to our Chairman and CEO, Mr. David Xueling Li. Please go ahead, sir.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our first quarter 2022 earnings call. To start, let me briefly review our performance in the first quarter. We kick off 2024 with a solid quarter. Group's revenue come in at $565 million, with our core business BIGO segment contributing $505 million. Group's non-GAAP net profit reached $67 million, and BIGO's non-GAAP net profit hit $71 million, both surpassing our expectations. BIGO sustained its top-line recovery trend for the third consecutive quarter, achieving at 8% year-over-year growth. Live streaming revenues from our core global products, which include BIGO Live, Likee, Emo, increased by 2.8% year-over-year, driven by a continued expansion of paying users, which was up by 6.9% on an annual basis. We have prioritized and channeled our advertising spend and other operational resources toward premium users and developed countries where we observe improved ROI and spending sentiment. Across all BIGO's markets, developed countries continued to outperform, with live streaming revenues achieving double-digit growth year-over-year. Importantly, as we continue to strategically expand and diversify our revenue streams, BIGO's non-live streaming revenues, primarily advertising revenues, grew substantially year-over-year. At the same time, we continued to improve our profitability at group level. Our non-GAAP net profit reached $67 million in the first quarter, up 34.8% year-over-year. Non-GAAP net margin increased by 3.4 percentage points to 11.9%. Notably, despite the negative impact of seasonality, the all-over segment steadily narrowed its non-GAAP operation loss on a sequential basis. This improvement was driven by further cost optimization and enhanced operational and management efficiency at both the group and the product levels. We sustained our positive operation cash flow in the first quarter, generating a robust $75 million with its foundation of healthy cash flows and our solid financial position. We repurchased an additional of 554.5 million worth of shares during the quarter. As we have outlined previously, despite the last developments regarding the sales of Joyy Live, we remain committed to returning value to our shareholders. We will continue to actively execute our current share repurchase program and enhance execution consistency. Looking ahead, we have seen some green shoots of recovery. Global macroeconomic uncertainties persisted. Our live streaming ARPU was still down slightly year-over-year, and the regional recovery trends diverged and remained uneven. As such, we will maintain our efficiency-oriented approach to our operational investments. We will continue to focus on ROI and nimbly adjust our strategies to align with prevailing market dynamics. We expect to drive healthy, sustainable growth of our business while maintaining stable profitability and positive cash flow. Based on our current operational plans, we expect BIGO to resume sequentially growth in the second half of the year and maintain its year-over-year revenue recovery for the full year. We anticipate that BIGO's revenue mix will become more diversified in 2024, with a further increase in the contribution from non-live streaming revenue on a year-over-year basis. Now, let's delve deeper into our operational strategies. By optimizing product features, providing diverse premium content, and leveraging innovative marketing activities, we continuously enhance our users' content and social experience. Notably, our global operations teams collaborated with KOLs and industry partners to execute a range of innovative online and offline marketing activities in the first quarter. In addition to hosting galas and culture themes region activities and resonate deeply with our users, we elevated our presence in the offline exhibitions and roadshows. We also hosted creator parties and family events to further connect with our community. These initiatives drove deeper engagement with our global communities of users and significantly enhanced both product awareness and our brand influence. Furthermore, as a global technology company, we remain steadfast in our commitment to promoting corporate social responsibilities and sustainable development, and integrating these principles into the core of our local operations worldwide. In March, we launched a series of regional events in Middle East and Southeast Asia to celebrate Ramadan, fostering a sense of community among users during this festival period. We also forged partners with several international charitable organizations, including the Indonesia Cancer Foundation's, Saudi Arabia's Nama National Association, and Bangladesh's Jago Foundations. We made a number of donations to those international charitable organizations, inspiring hundreds of thousands of our users to join our cause and provide assistance to local families, patients, and children in need. We have also actively engaged in dialogues with government agencies, industry leaders, entrepreneurs, and other stakeholders in our key market to align our regional operations with the economic and sustainable development goals of local communities. For example, in January, we attended the Jordan-Singapore Tech Alliance Forum with BIGO and the Information and Communications of Technology Associations of Jordan jointly signed a MOU. This partnership aimed to strengthen bilateral cooperation, promote regional technological innovation, and facilitate economic growth. In March, BIGO participated in LEAP, the largest technology exhibition in Middle East, where we showcased BIGO's technologies and AI-driven solutions. BIGO's presence underscores our support for the region's sustainable development and our commitment to promoting entrepreneurship, innovation, and digital transformation. Now, let's take a closer look at our product. We will start with BIGO Live. In the first quarter, BIGO Live's revenue continued its year-over-year rebound, especially revenue from developed countries grew by 40.8%, accompanied by a 17.2% increase in paying users in those regions. During the quarter, we remained focused on BIGO Live's user acquisition strategy, channeling more resources into developed countries to enhance our monetization efficiency. As a result, BIGO Live's MAU was slightly down year-over-year, setting at 37.1 million. However, MAU in developed countries rose by 8.9% on an annual basis. In contrast with a 4% decline in Southeast Asia and other emerging markets. Moving forward, we will continue to execute on our focused user acquisition strategy as we strive to optimize BIGO Live's user mix. While we anticipate some short-term fluctuations in MAU growth, we are confident that this adjustment will enhance the long-term viability of Bigo Live. In the fourth quarter, Bigo Live organized a variety of innovative marketing initiatives, enriching the platform with diverse, high-quality content and broadening our reach within the global community. A highlight was our participating in the Sanremo Music Festival, the world-famous Italian song contest and award ceremony, held in early February. As a part of organizer, Bigo Live showcased 10 of our most talented streamers in a 2-hour music extravaganza that was streamed worldwide. In addition, Bigo Live launched an intelligent management system for streamers and agencies, which significantly streamlines the contracting and management process by reducing the average duration from days to mere hours. This efficiency boost led to 4.9% quarter-over-quarter increase in newly contract streamers. We anticipate the automation initiatives such as this will further improve our overall operational efficiency in the long run. Family-based operational activities also played a key role in this quarter, strengthening social bonds within our user community. In a sequential basis, our approach yield a 1.1% increase in paying family user and 1.5% raise in contracted streamers within families, and 6.2% uptick in daily active user in family groups. We also simplified and upgraded Bigo Live's homepage and rolled out a refined AI-driven content recommendation algorithm that better catered to our core users' preference and their real-time feedback. This resulted in sequentially increase of 1.1% in next-day user retention and 5.4% in average viewers' time spent per live session. Enhancement to live streaming rooms tools and interactive features contribute to a 5.3% sequential raise in average during per live session and 4.4% sequential increase in the number of users going live in multi-guest room. Next, let's take a look at Lucky. In the first quarter, Lucky's revenue continued to recover year-over-year, and it maintained its profitability. Advertising revenue grew by 1.1 times on an annual basis, and the DAU in the core European market maintained the sequential growth. Lucky's recent launch of interactive gaming features has been instrumental in breaking the ice and fostering connections between users, leading to substantial growth in paying users. During the fourth quarter, Lucky launched a series of engaging community events for creators, users, and brands. This includes the Global Lucky Party and MENA Gala in the Middle East, co-hosted with Bigo Live. as Likey continued to enhance its creators' services and expanded its optimization tools and incentives for premier creators. Its number of core creators increased by 30.6% quarter-over-quarter. Finally, turning to Hago. Hago sustained positive operation cash flow during the fourth quarter. Hago's implementation of more gaming field interactions and paid features has effectively boosted user engagement and monetization. Standout success was the role of the Fly Across the World event, spanning Hago's major operation countries. By participating in the event, users could travel virtually to various countries, collect treasures, claim and nurture their travel company's pets, and keep virtual gift trailers to each location's unique culture and traditions. The event received enthusiastic feedback, with nearly one-third of our Hago's total paid user participating. User engagement on Hago also increased notably, with daily average time spent in social channels rising by 2.8% to 102 minutes, and the time spent in multi-guest audio live streaming rooms up by 2.9% from the previous quarter. To sum up, we are off a good start in 2022. Bigo has sustained its year-over-year revenue recovery trajectory while further diversifying its revenue mix. The group has delivered profit growth. Looking ahead, we will continue to harness our product experience and drive operational innovations. At the same time, we will further optimize our efficiencies to propel sustainable, profitable growth across our global business. This concludes my prepared remarks. I will now turn the call to our Vice President of Finance, Alex Liu, for our financial updates.
Thanks, David. Hello, everyone. Before I go into the details, we would like to remind you that despite the latest development in the sale of Wawa Live, to the date of this press release, we have not obtained control over Wawa Live and therefore have not consolidated the business. The financial results presented in our press release and this conference call primarily consisted of Bigo and all other segments, excluding Wawa Live. I will now provide a recap of some key financial highlights for the first quarter. Overall, we observed improving fundamentals, supported by Bigo's continued top-line recovery and efficiency improvement at group level. Our total net revenues were $564.6 million in the first quarter. Revenues from Bigo segment were $505.2 million, up by 8% year-over-year. In particular, Bigo's non-live streaming revenues were $63 million, which was up substantially year-over-year, primarily due to the increase of advertising revenues. Geographically speaking, as we prioritized to allocate our operational resources towards developed countries, Our revenues from developed countries was up by double digits year-over-year, outperforming all other regions. Cost of revenues for the quarter decreased to $369.2 million, among which our revenue sharing fees and content costs increased to $268.4 million. BIGO's cost of revenues were $328.6 million, which was up year-over-year, consistent with the rebound in revenue and elevated creator support during the quarter. Gross profit was $195.4 million in the quarter, with a gross margin of 34.6%. BIGO's gross profit was $176.6 million, with a gross margin of 35%. BIGO's gross margin was lower year-over-year due to change of revenue mix and higher contribution of BIGO Audience Network advertising revenues. Our group's operating expenses for the quarter were $195.4 million, compared with $205.3 million in the same period of 2023. Among the operating expenses, R&D expenses decreased to $69 million from $75.8 million, primarily due to decreased personal expenses and share-based compensation expenses. Our sales and marketing expenses decreased to $94.6 million from $97.6 million in the same period of 2023. BIGO's total operating expenses for the quarter were $129.5 million, which was flat year-over-year, while its total operating expenses ratio was 25.6% during the quarter, down from 27.6% last year. Our group's GAAP operating income for the quarter was $3.5 million. Our group's non-GAAP operating income for the quarter, which excludes SBC expenses, amortization of intangible assets from business acquisitions, loss on the consolidation and the disposal of subsidiaries, as well as impairment of goodwill and investments, was $24.8 million in this quarter, with a non-GAAP operating income margin of 4.4%. BIGO's GAAP operating income for the quarter was $50.4 million, and BIGO's non-GAAP operating income was $63 million, representing a non-GAAP operating income margin of 12.5%. The GAAP and non-GAAP operating loss for all other segments during the quarter was further narrowed to $46.8 million and $38.2 million on a sequential basis, respectively, despite the negative impact of seasonality. Our group's GAAP net income attributable to controlling interest of Joyy in the quarter was $45.3 million, compared to $28 million in the same period of 2023. GAAP net income margin was 8% in the first quarter of 2024, compared to 4.8% in the same period of 2023. BIGO's GAAP net income in the quarter was $69 million, with a GAAP net margin of 12.1%, up from 9.3% in the same period last year. Non-GAAP net income attributable to controlling interest of Joyy in the quarter was $67.2 million, compared to $49.9 million in the same period of 2023. The group's non-GAAP net income margin was 11.9% in the quarter, compared to 8.5% in the same period of 2023. BIGO's non-GAAP net income was $71.2 million, compared with $56.8 million in the same period of 2023. BIGO's non-GAAP net margin was 14.1% in the quarter, up from 12.1% in the same period last year. For the first quarter of 2024, we booked net cash inflows from operating activities of $75 million. We remain a healthy balance sheet with a strong cash position of $3.6 billion as of March 31st of 2024. In the first quarter, we continued to enhance returns to shareholders and repurchased an additional of approximately $54.5 million of our shares. As of the end of March, we still have around $472 million unutilized quota and our current share repurchase program. We intend to actively utilize our current share repurchase program and proceed with a steady execution of additional share buyback in 2024. Turning now to our business outlook, we anticipate continued top-line recovery in the BIGO segment. However, due to the ongoing uncertainty in the global macro landscape, we recognize that the pace of recovery may be uneven across different markets, and there may be short-term fluctuations in user paying sentiment. At group level, we expect our net revenues for the second quarter of 2024 to be between $538 million and $569 million. This forecast reflects our preliminary views on the market and operational conditions, which are subject to changes. Looking forward, we will remain dedicated to our strategic priorities, optimizing product and innovating our operations to create value for our users and stakeholders. We continue to execute our ROI-oriented operational strategy in order to deliver profitable, sustainable growth. That concludes our prepared remarks. Operator, we would now like to open up the call to questions.
Thank you. If you wish to ask a question, please press star one on your telephone and wait for your name to be announced. If you wish to cancel your request, please press star two. If you're on a speakerphone, please pick up the handset to ask your question. When asking a question, please state your question in Chinese first, then repeat your question in English for the convenience of everyone on the call. Your first question comes from Henry Sun with JP Morgan.
谢谢管理层接受我的提问，能否请管理层分享一下2024年全年的营收趋势，以及下半年 BIGO Live 各大区的预测趋势？谢谢。I'll translate myself. Thanks management for taking my question. My question is about the revenue and BIGO Live. Could management share the revenue outlook for 2024 and what are the expected trends for BIGO Live by region in the second half of this year? Thanks.
谢谢您的问题。然后，我们首先回顾一下那个 Q1 的这个变现趋势。第一季度呢 ，BIGO 的3款核心产品的海外直播收入同比都保持了正增长，环比有所下跌，主要还是因为 Q1 淡季的影响。目前营收复苏仍以付费用户的增长驱动的。ARPU 呢同比仍然有所下滑。从市场上来看啊，一季度发达国家大区的营收同比保持了2位数的增长。中东、东南亚等大区目前整体看来尚未回到明显复苏的这节奏上。从 ARPU 和各区域趋势来看，全球宏观经济的不确定性和风险仍然存在。 我们需要保持专注和有针对性，把钱花在刀刃上，以 ROI 和效率优先，以稳定的盈利和健康的现金流为基础来谋求健康的可持续增长。保持有针对性的运营策略需要融合获客、内容、算法等多团队的努力。其中涉及对不同用户群的 ROI 及内容消费打赏行为偏好的深入分析，基于数据在投放策略、内容推送和营收活动上，灵活的给予调整。这一串的调整都需要同频共振。此外，我们也观察到，平台文化的多元性和包容性的确可以为用户提供独特的情绪价值。数据显示，重视这部分价值用户的 ARPU 往往高于大盘的平均值，有很强的忠诚度。我们还将继续保持有针对性的运营策略，进一步放大平台多元文化和多元市场的优势。接下来呢，展望一下营收预示呢，Q2 的由于斋月的尾声和开斋节的影响，用户线下社交活动会增加，以及部分区域的内容政策、运营政策的优化。我们当前的指引已经隐含了上述因素的影响。不过下半年运营活动会更加活跃，我们预期 BIGO 下半年的收入增速会有所恢复。全年看来呢，我们仍然预期 BIGO 板块将在大方向上保持营收的复苏。
Hi, this is David. I will take a question. First, let's review the monetization trend for Q1. In the first quarter, BIGO's 3 core products saw positive year-over-year growth in their live streaming revenue, although there was a Q-on-Q decline, primarily due to the impact of a low season. The current revenue recovery is primarily driven by the growth in paying users, while our ARPU is still showing a year-over-year decline. Looking at the trends across different markets, the revenue in developed countries maintained double-digit growth year-over-year in the first quarter, while other regions such as Middle East and Southeast Asia have not yet returned to recovery trend. Taking the ARPU decline and the uneven trend across different regions, we believe that uncertainties and risks still persist regarding the global macro environment. Therefore, we still need to remain focused and targeted, spend our money wisely with our ROI and efficiency as the top priorities, seeking a healthy growth based on stable profitability and healthy cash flows. Maintaining a targeted and focused operational strategy actually requires the combined efforts of multiple teams, including our user acquisition, our content operation, and our content recommendation algorithm team. And these actually involve the in-depth analysis of different demographics of users, content, and also tipping behavior and their ROI. And based on those data, we then flexibly adjust our advertising spend, our content recommendation, and our monetization-driven activities accordingly, making sure that these adjustments are coordinated and synchronized. While during that process, we figured that actually our platform's diverse culture provides extra and unique emotional values to users, and those who value such aspects tend to have a higher ARPU than the overall average and exhibit a very strong loyalty. Therefore, we will continue to uphold our value to cultivate a diverse and inclusive culture and combine it with our targeted operational strategy and amplify our advantages of diverse culture and multi-market operation. And looking ahead to the revenue trend in the following quarters, first of all, for Q2, because of the influence of Ramadan and the celebration of Eid, during which we believe users' offline social activities will increase, and also together with some of our optimization of content policies in certain regions, we expect a relatively softer Q2, and that was reflected in our current guidance. However, given that we expect to have elevated level of operational activities and marketing activities in the second half of the year, we still expect BIGO's revenue growth will be better in the second half of the year. And for the full year of 24, we're still expecting BIGO to maintain a revenue recovery trend on a year-over-year basis. Thank you. Next question, please.
Your next question comes from Alex Poon with Morgan Stanley.
谢谢管理层接受我的提问。我的问题是关于整个集团和 BIGO 利润率下半年的趋势。谢谢。Thank you management for taking my question. My question is related to our group margin trend and BIGO margin trend in the rest of the year. Thank you very much.
Alex， 谢谢你的问题，我来回答一下。一季度其实整个集团的 non-GAAP 的净利润同比实现了 34.8% 的一个增长。首先看这个 BIGO 板块 ，BIGO 的 non-GAAP 的净利润对比去年同期是增长了 25.3%。non-GAAP 的净利润的绝对额对比去年基本是持平的，这是大体符合我们预期的。其中 Q1 BIGO 板块的 non-GAAP 的毛利率是 35%， 对比去年是有所下降，主要是由于 BIGO 广告业务的战略升级、松软训练的方式变化所导致的。如果排除这个影响因素 ，Q1 BIGO 的毛利基本符合淡季的一个规律。那么在费用方面由于我们持续优化了这个成本结构，推动运营提效 ，BIGO 的各项运营费用的同比增速是低于营收的增速的。关于 All Other 的板块，尽管存在营收淡季以及关停部分语音直播业务所带来的负面影响 ，Q1 All Other 板块也持续保持环比收窄亏损的一个趋势。non-GAAP 的经营亏损环比收窄了 2.1%。那么展望接下来几个季度我们将持续以 ROI 和效率为导向。对于 BIGO 板块，刨除此前部分非核心直播业务调整所带来的影响，我们预期 BIGO 的营收在稳步复苏的情况下，全年 non-GAAP 的经营利润额在大的方向上保持稳定。对于 All Other 板块，我们预期将继续稳步环比收窄经营亏损。
Thank you. This is Alex. I will take your question. In the first quarter, the group's non-GAAP net profit achieved a year-over-year increase of 34.8%. First, looking at BIGO segment, BIGO's non-GAAP net profit grew by 25.3% year-over-year, and the amount of non-GAAP operating profit was flattish, in line with our expectations. In Q1, BIGO's non-GAAP gross margin was 35%, decline year-over-year, mainly due to the strategic upgrade of BIGO's advertising business and some change in the revenue mix. Excluding that impact, BIGO's Q1 gross margin is consistent with our expectation for a low season. In terms of operating expenses, thanks to our continued cost optimization and improvement of our operational efficiency, BIGO's operating expenses increased by a slower rate than its revenue growth. Regarding the all other segment, despite the impact of a low season and also the proactive adjustment of certain non-core audio live streaming business that we did in last year, the segment continued to book reduced losses, reduced operating losses in Q1 on a sequential basis, with its non-GAAP operating losses narrowing by 2.1% QOQ. So looking ahead to the rest of 2024, we expect to continue to focus on ROI and efficiency. For Bigo segment, we expect Bigo to continue its top-line recovery year-over-year and deliver a stable amount of non-GAAP operating profit while excluding the impact of some adjustments to non-core audio live streaming business. For the other segment, for the all other segment, we expect it to further narrow its non-GAAP operating losses Q-on-Q. Thank you. Next question, please.
Your next question comes from Lei Zhang with Bank of America.
Hi， 管理层早上好，谢谢接受我的提问。主要想问一下，我们整体的回购计划在后续有怎样的一个节奏呢？因为看到EQ 的话也是稳步执行了这个之前的计划，想知道多一些 color， 我自己翻译一下。Thanks management for taking my question. Want to follow up on the share repurchase plan. What we can expect in the following quarter since we have repurchased $55 billion in the fourth quarter. Thank you.
你好，张来，谢谢你的提问，我来回答一下。其实正如我们刚刚提到的，尽管当前 Vava Live 的交易尚未有定论但并没有影响我们推进股东回馈的决心和诚意。从数据上来看，你看得到一季度我们新增的股票回购金额高达5450万美金。那么截止到一季度末我们还有4.72亿美金的可用的回购额度。我们会继续积极推进回购的执行，并且尽量的提升回购执行的一个稳定性。谢谢。
Thank you, Lei. This is Alex. I will take a question. As we've just mentioned, although that the sale of YY Live is not yet conclusive, we remain committed to returning value to our shareholders. In the first quarter, you can see that we have repurchased additional 54.5 million worth of our shares. As of the end of Q1, we still have around 772 million unutilized quota under our current share repurchase program. We intend to continue to execute additional share repurchases and will strive to improve our execution consistency in 24. Thank you. Our last question, please.
Your last question comes from Yuan Zhang with China Renaissance.
好，谢谢管理层接受我的提问。想请管理层谈一下咱们那个广告业务目前的进展跟接下去的一个方向。谢谢。So thanks for taking my question. My question is regarding our non-live streaming business. Can you discuss the latest trend there and our, our future plan? Thank you.
你好，谢谢你的问题我们目前呢，这个非直播的这个变现方式主要就是通过广告。广告呢，目前我们有2大块，主要包括我们社交平台自有的社交平台广告和那个我们与第三方流量合作的，我们叫做 Bigo Audience Network 的这个广告联盟的这个收入。回顾这个23年以广告为主的这个非直播业务呢，还是获得了一些小的突破。23年呢 ，Bigo 板块的非直播收入同比增长，达到了14%，其中 Likee 的广告同比增长接近2.5倍。第一季度呢 ，Bigo 非直播收入同比大幅增长，这其中部分源于Bigo Audience Network 的广告联盟业务的战略升级的驱动。抛除广告联盟业务 ，Bigo 的非直播收入同比增速也达到了50%，其中 Likee 的这个广告收入同比增长达到了1.1倍。 对，但是呢，需要承认的是，我们的这个广告业务目前还是处于比较早的阶段，我们还要持续的耕耘产品，推动那个核心市场 DAU 的复苏和那个商家合作生态的完善，继续推动产品的多元化，以实现平衡的引擎和长期的这个增长。
Thank you. This is David. I will answer your question. Currently, our non-live streaming revenue primarily include advertising revenues, which could be further diverted into two categories, including advertising revenues generated on our own social platforms and advertising revenues generated on Bigo Audience Network, where we work with third-party traffic. Looking back at the year of 23, we've made some progress regarding our non-live streaming business, with Bigo's non-live streaming revenue increased by 14% year-over-year, and Likey's advertising revenue increased by nearly 2.5 times year-over-year. And in Q1, we continue to see significant year-over-year growth in Bigo's non-live streaming revenues. That was partially driven by the strategic upgrade of our Bigo Audience Network advertising business. Excluding our network advertising revenues, Bigo's non-live streaming revenue grew by over 50% year-over-year. Among this, Likey's advertising revenue increased by 1.1 times in the quarter. However, we'd like to acknowledge that our advertising business is still in a relatively early stage. We will continue to optimize our products and services, focus on growing our core market DAU, and also our merchant advertiser cooperation network. We expect to continue to expand and diversify our revenue streams and drive a long-term sustainable growth with a much diversified engine. So that was the last question. Thank you so much for joining our call. We look forward to speaking with everyone next quarter.
That does conclude our conference for today. Thank you for participating. You may now disconnect.